Y'all, oh, you guys gotta wake up. I'm so fired up this morning, you have no idea. I know I made my live this morning and I started off really good this morning. I was gold and I was happy. Now I'm not angry. Good morning, by the way, happy Friday. I'm fired up because, okay, I want to hurry up and make this video because I just got to work. I didn't expect to make a video, but literally within the 20 minutes of driving here, just like 3 or 4 things hit me, and I don't even know where to start. Okay, let's start. About a year ago in May, I made a video in May of 2020. The video is hashtag London Real Army, I believe. If you look at my past videos, it's a video that I made in May of 2020 called hashtag London Real Army. You don't have to be a big fan of London Real. You don't have to know who Brian Rose is. Brian Rose is an American-born entrepreneur, basically. He now lives in London. He actually ran for mayor of London a few months ago. He lost the election, but I mean, to be honest, I don't even believe elections are elections. They are selections. They are selections of people that have already been planned to be in place. This includes the United States. I'm getting real crazy today. So stay with me. In that video, I had talked about when I was working at the hospital at that time. I'm starting up my computer this morning because I got stuff to talk about. Okay, so I worked at the hospital at that time. I used to run the morgue there. In May, it had already been a couple months since this COVID outbreak started. I'm gonna tell you right now, I knew it at that time. I knew it. Let's back up a few years and talk about what I was trained to do in the military. I was an intelligence analyst. And the concept of intelligence analyst is not specific to just the information you're getting about the military. It's a concept of taking clues and pieces of information like a puzzle and trying to put together a picture of what can be anticipated by the enemy. Okay, we would take images of their weapons placement, surface-to-air missile systems, and what their capabilities are. This helped determine what path the flights are going to take for the bombers and other aspects of the military too, ground troops. What we did depended on what information we were gathering, bits and pieces of, to make an analysis, okay? Now take that concept, not necessarily the details, not the same details, but the concept, and fast forward to 2020, okay? February, March of 2020, a thing comes out. Oh, there's a new virus and it's killing everybody. Okay, we're gonna all die. So what did the hospital do? Renown Regional Medical Center, the same place that told me that fight the good fight could not be quoted as from the book of Timothy, because God forbid we're promoting religion. And that just was one of the things that broke the camel's back for me. It's like, you guys are surrounded by death and you think that faith is the enemy? Out of your damn mind. Anyways, I'm not going to get mad. We're going to stay logical today. Okay, so at that time, in March and April and then into May, Renown Regional Medical Center in Reno, Nevada invested like $2.5 million. I want to say it was actually a little more than that. What did they do with all that money? They took all that money and they took their entire garage structure. They have a garage. They had like 3 garage structures in that hospital. You can Google Earth it. I don't care. It's the one off Mill Street. They took the Mill Street garage and they converted it into something called like the ACS. I think it was like the Alternative Care Center or something like that. It was basically, the concept was, when they get an influx of all these people that were going to start dying of COVID, they didn't have enough room in the hospital, so we have to make a makeshift a hospital out of a parking garage. And they included outlets, power outlets with surge protectors for those on life support. And they spent all this money. I mean, the place looked great. It was beautiful. And they did it so fast. On top of that, for my department, I was running the morgue. They spent thousands of dollars renting cooler trailers, a cooler trailer, and then they put metal shelves inside, and then they had me make up a binder with folder pockets so that when all the bodies started coming in, we could keep track. And the morgue at that hospital only had 14 beds to house 14 bodies, and they expected over 150 at any given time. And I was like, holy Moses, how am I going to keep track of all these bodies? So I created the binder. I did as they told. I prepared for the worst. We all did. We were like, oh my God, The Walking Dead is about to begin. Here we go. And I had my freaking baseball bat. I had my own Lucille ready. And we all were just there. Everybody was fired up. And then in May, I was kind of like, y'all hear crickets? I mean, nothing happened. You could see in the video in May, I was talking about, well, it's kind of weird because it's not like the number of bodies have increased, but the number of dead are being pronounced with COVID. But they were all people that were already dying of leukemia, advanced stages of dementia, cancers. I mean, it was not a surprising thing. It was not a shock. So we covered that part in May of 2020. Okay, now here's where I started talking about being an intelligence analyst. I started taking pieces and bits of information about things since then. Okay, fast forward another year. Here we are. We're actually in July of 2021, but here we are. Gas prices are going up. I just passed by one of the diners where I usually go to eat. And there are 2 RVs parked in an abandoned parking lot right next to the diner. And people are just living in that parking lot. There have been RVs parked in the BLM lands. BLM, not Black Lives Matters. Calm yourself down. The BLM lands is the government lands that surround the residential areas way up north in I want to say more toward California border. You can see campers and RVs, and sometimes just somebody parked in a car with a tarp over it, just living out of their car in the middle of the desert out here. Yes, these people, they're increasing in numbers. What's happening? Why are these people all of a sudden just camping out all over? It's not that great of a place to camp out here. I'm going to tell you that right now. What's happening is when the COVID pandemic started a year ago, businesses like Nevada Energy, water supply, the water companies, landlords, mortgage companies, places that required you to pay rent, pay power, they put out a forgiveness plan. They were helping you. They were helping these families. And what they were doing they were postponing the payments. They were saying, if you can't make your rent due to COVID, we're not going to evict you. And it was so nice. They were so sweet. And then what happened? Fast forward a year later, now the pandemic everything's getting better. It's all better. We have a vaccine. We're free. And then now these businesses are like, okay, so that forgiveness plan we gave you, well, COVID's gone now. I hope you could get a job because now you're going to have to pay double or pay the entire balance of your rent from the entire past year before June of 2022. How are people who lost their jobs or quit their jobs or couldn't go to their jobs and have to start over again a year later, basically finding a new job or their old job with a steady income of living check to check. How are those people going to pay double for the next year, and then on top of that still try to make a living this year? And that, hence, you have people who are losing their homes. Now, here comes the analyst in me. I see that. I see the gas prices slowly going up. I see the price of food, groceries slowly going up. I see money prices going up and incomes going down. Here's another piece of information. That same hospital that I worked for, Renown Regional Medical Center, was in the news last night. The lady that took over my job when I used to work there just lost her job yesterday. Over 160 people were laid off from that hospital. Now let's remember a year ago when they spent $2.5 million on this whole COVID recovery center, and it sat empty for a whole year. This is a recovery process. They can't afford people. They just laid off over 160 people, and you think they're going to stop there? There's a hiring freeze. Now, imagine you're somebody who's you're pregnant. 9 months, you're due any day now. They don't have enough nurses in pediatrics to help you. How confident are you going to feel about that? They're understaffed. The nurse that's going to be helping you has already been working 13 hours, and because nobody's available to cover the next shift, she's there, she's exhausted, she's hungry, she's tired, she's not thinking about you and your baby. Bless the nurses. I'm not dogging nurses. Let me just fix that right now, okay? This is not a hit on nurses, because those nurses over there, far underpaid, far underappreciated, and certainly not given a fair chance with the schedules and the hours that they're working. It's ridiculous. They are spread so thin. It's unhealthy. It's not safe. A hospital is a place you're supposed to go to get safe, to get healthier. It's not happening, sisters. Not happening, brothers. I talked about when Barricade Garage was talking about the politics of everything that's happening. And, I know some people think like he's out of his mind and all this stuff, but let me tell you something. I agree with his concept, because my concept when I first started in 2016 and we voted for Trump and we were like, yes, he's the answer. And whether you believe in Trump, whether you believe in Alex Jones, whether you believe in Salty Cracker, or even Brian Rose, and David Icke. I talked about David Icke in my video from May of 2020. You don't have to agree with everything that people are putting out there. You don't even have to agree with me. Make your own assumptions. Collect the information. All this information that I'm seeing with this hospital going under, I almost want to say I kind of saw that coming. I mean, it's just like when they spent $2.5 million on an empty garage remodeling, I was like, where are we going to get the money for my raise? But you see what I'm saying? There's just so many things that are coming together, bits and pieces from all over the world, all over your life. The prices of things. There is another YouTuber called TJ Preps. TJ Preps. I love that lady. Southern growl. She tells you like it is. She calls y'all, and that's what y'all are, is y'alls. And TJ put out a video a while ago, and she was talking about the banks buying up properties and homes and stuff called pennies on the dime. And it's basically the banks are waiting out these houses to foreclose from families who could not afford to pay their mortgage to get booted out. These are the people that are out in the middle of the desert right now in their RVs trying to survive. And the banks will snatch up those houses pennies on the dime. And then what do you think they're going to do with that in a couple years when the mortgage rates go up and property value goes up and people start buying homes again? They're going to sell that stuff for like money and a half. Pennies on the dime. They bought it for pennies, they're going to sell it for a dime. This is my next prediction. And I'm not saying that I'm right about everything, but I'm taking in the clues and I'm seeing something coming. Two important things. One, we're going to see a lot of homeless people. That's the thing that TJ Preps talked about in the video that I saw, and it hit me hard because she's right. We're about to have a lot of homeless and hungry people out on the streets. They had that gas shortage or something back on the East Coast a month or two ago, and people are, oh my God, we're going to run out of gas. Bullshit. Bullshit. There was no gas shortage. They are inciting chaos. Because here's the other thing. With chaos comes opportunity. And the government, your government, be careful, people. Be careful what freedoms you relinquish for the sake of a chaos that you don't understand. If there is a chaos that's coming and a lot of homeless people are going to be out there, a lot of starving people who want to feed their children because they're living out of a car and they know you've got food, guess who they're coming for? Divide and conquer. Okay, that can create almost like a civil war in the communities, in the basic communities of all of us that are living in our homes trying to protect ourselves, whether you have guns or not, whether you believe in guns or not. If it gets so far out of hand, what opportunity does the government have to come in and incite martial law? Now they have control of all of us. Whether we're the ones that are starving or the ones that are being robbed, whether we're the ones protecting ourselves or being assaulted, it doesn't matter. If there's any kind of chaos, rioting, thefts, murders, they're going to take all that and the government's going to say, well, obviously the community and the people cannot handle themselves, so we're going to handle them for them. And here is where we lose our freedom. Because it will no longer be in our hands anymore. I foresee some trouble between communities, between people, and that chaos is going to ensue martial law. I know there's people out there smarter than me about it and know more about it, and they probably see some flaws in that theory, but I don't know. I'm just thinking, and I don't even have a suggestion to what we should do, because we're so far in this pandemic thing. People are already taking vaccines. The girl in my office that got the vaccine has got this weird purple spot on her arm now. And she's like, I don't know, it's been there for like 3 months. Do you think it's a spider bite? No, darling. If it was a spider bite and it was poisonous, you'd have no arm by now. So anyways, I don't know what the answer is, you guys, but brothers and sisters, be careful. Watch yourselves. Watch the world around you. Be smart. Protect yourselves, but don't go crazy. Does that make sense? Do you see what I'm talking about? This Renown Regional, I'll even post a link below from that news webpage that I saw last night. They really did. They're cutting back. They're on a hiring freeze. So if y'all are coming to Reno, don't end up in the hospital. You may end up dead. And then they will use you as a statistics to push their COVID thing. The whole COVID thing flopped and failed. The number of people that died, the mortality rate overall did not change. The mortality numbers of people that they diagnosed to have COVID went up, but it was the same number of people that died every other year before. It influxes and it decreases, it increases, it just depends on the year. So anyways, that's my crazy rant. I hope it made sense. If it didn't, ask me. Write me a comment and ask me. I don't care. But as far as what's going to happen, you guys need to stay strong and keep faith. We all need to stick together. This is what I talk about when I say love each other. Just remember that there's something bigger out there trying to pit us against each other. Are we going to be stupid and fall for it? I hope not. But at the same time, how do you convince somebody that's got their mind made up? They're starving, they got to do something. It's going to be rough. I don't know. Let's pray that I'm wrong, right? Okay, I love you guys. I got to get to work. Happy Friday. Sorry it wasn't a happier video, but I saw these things on the way to work. I saw another billboard from Renown, says fight the good fight. They don't even believe in that. Anyways, that's a whole nother story. Well, don't get me started. Anyways, I hope today is not a complete waste of makeup. I'm going to make it a good day, and I will go into the weekend. I'll get more chicken videos for you guys. You guys, make sure you're loving each other. Encourage each other. Find a brother and a sister that needs some words of encouragement and give it to them. It doesn't cost you anything, okay? And of course, stay freaking salty.